Okay, I'm going to take my second panel, so this is my front panel, and again I'm pulling that zipper placket out from the other two panels that are joined on, and I'm going to position it centrally along the top edge of my front panel. Now I'm not using glue, I'm just going to use some clips. I'm not using double-sided tape, I'm just using clips because I don't actually feel that, for me, I need the double-sided tape or the glue. Please do use it if you feel you need to. And I'm going to stitch along the top edge there. And I'm stitching initially at 1/8 of an inch because I find it's easier to do a scan 1/8 of an inch once I've done 1/8 of an inch. So I've done a line of stitching at 1/8 of an inch, and then I'm going to just go back and do a second line of stitching. It's halfway between that line and the very edge of my leather. This gives double security, and it's just something that I like to do. It's not in the pattern, it's just me being a show off because I like to top stitch. So what you end up with is two very close rows of stitching. So there we have the front and the back of our bag. So now we're going to attach this here pocket. Now I'm going to take these off now because I think it's probably done what I want it to do. Let's just kind of set those curves in place. Let me just check what I'm doing on the pattern. Okay, now the pattern tells me that I need to use double-sided tape around the outside. I just don't think I need to, so I'm not going to. I'm going to match up the sides of this panel, this front pocket, the one that's got this pocket on, with the sides of my front panel, and I'm going to clip it in place because that's how I would work with faux leather. Now I know that that's probably making it more difficult for myself because I know I have to add the gusset in a moment, but this feels more comfortable to me as a faux leather worker, so that's what I'm doing. There's probably a very good reason why I should be double-sided taping it, but the mess that I get in with that stuff is just not worth the aggro. So I'm clipping it in place, and you can see that that's clipped to the front panel of my bag. Let me get rid of these threads. I've got threads all over the show here. I will need to go back and get rid of all of these. So you can see our zipper placket sitting in place there. This is the front of our bag, and our little pocket's sitting there quite nice actually. I'm quite impressed with that, given that this is really soft faux leather. It's really soft leather. It's a bit daunting. Right, now let me just get to the next page of the pattern. And here we go. So what we're going to do next is we are going to add our gusset, and we're going to do that so that the raw edges of the gusset sit on the edge of the bag. So we have a center, we should have a center mark on the bottom of our main panel. and we're going to line up the centre mark on our gusset with that mark, and we're going to clip that together. Now I'm clipping it onto the front first because I've already got clips on the front. So I'm just because I haven't stitched that piece on and I haven't stuck that piece on, I'm just going to do the front before I do the back. That's personal preference again, and I don't think it makes any difference. I'm going to match up the tops at the sides, and this is wrong sides together, not right sides together, because you're going to have a raw edge on the outside of your bag. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side at the front. I'm going to match up. Let's just get rid of these threads, and I've got a little bit of twill tape there that needs to come away. So I'm just going to match up those top corners. So I've matched up the top corners of the gusset and the bottom centre of the gusset. And now I'm just going to come down the side, matching the sides up really carefully. And because I've already got that pocket clipped onto there, I've already got clips, so I can just match all three of the layers, because I've got the layer which is the front layer, I've got the layer which is the front pocket, and the gusset. Plenty clips. So I'm coming down that side. I'm going to do exactly the same coming down the other side. Matching up all three layers. If you've cut them with a rotary cutter, you should actually have really accurate, nice seams, nice edges to match up. So when we get down to these curves, we're going to ease the curves in the same way as we did around here. We're just gonna ease them so that all of the three layers on this particular panel, the back won't have three layers because it doesn't have that slip pocket that's the same size. What you don't want is to have a sort of a gape. Now I have a slight gape there, which indicates to me that something isn't quite right, but I just need to check this side and make sure that this side, I may have just slightly overshot on one side rather than the other, and that does happen sometimes. Usually if you've got more on one side than the other, you'll have a gape on one side and then it won't fit the other side. So that's quite often how that happens, and I think that's exactly what's happened because this feels quite tight around this side. Let's just And there we are. Sorry, I completely stopped talking while I'm doing that. I'm just trying to concentrate. So now we're going to stitch all the way around that outside edge. Let me just check that I'm, what seam allowance I'm using. I am going to use an 18-inch seam allowance. Now, the pattern also suggests that if you want to, you can pop a rivet through the top of the pockets. I'm not going to because I don't want to encumber this with anything other than what's necessary. I want it to be very, very simple and very, very unfussy. Now, I'm going to have to stop because the phone's ringing.